The Daoists discovered something counterintuitive about achievement. The harder you push, the more resistance you create. Effortlessly accomplishes what force cannot. They called this principle Wu Wei. It translates poorly as non-action. But Wu Wei is not passivity. It is action so aligned with natural flow that effort becomes invisible. Watch water. It never forces its way through obstacles. It finds the path that already exists. It wears down mountains not through violence but through persistent yielding. This is not weakness. Water is among the most powerful forces on Earth. It carved the Grand Canyon. It shapes continents. It does this without trying. Your workday operates by opposite principles. You force. You push. You grind against resistance, believing that more effort equals more result. Sometimes it does. Often it does not. There is a crucial distinction between force and power. Force requires constant expenditure. Power operates through alignment. Force depletes. Power renews itself. Think of a door that only opens inward. You can exhaust yourself pushing, or you can pull gently and walk through. The obstacle was never the door. It was your approach. Wu Wei means finding where the current already flows toward your goal. Not creating momentum from nothing but joining momentum that exists. Working with rather than against. You have experienced this. Days when everything clicked. When tasks completed themselves almost without your involvement. When you looked up and hours had vanished productively. Psychologists call this flow state. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi studied it for decades. Athletes call it the zone. The experience is universal. Total absorption. Effortless excellence. Flow is not random. It has conditions. The task must match your skill level. Challenge too low creates boredom. Challenge too high creates anxiety. The sweet spot creates flow. But there is something deeper than flow. Wu Wei is not a state you enter occasionally. It is a way of moving through everything. A constant attunement to what wants to happen. Modern work culture is addicted to forcing. We glorify the grind. We worship hustle. We believe exhaustion proves virtue. This is a disease masquerading as strength. The exhausted worker is not more productive. Studies confirm this repeatedly. Beyond a certain threshold, more hours produce worse results. The forcing creates its own failure. When you try too hard in a conversation, you become awkward. When you try too hard in creativity, you become blocked. When you try too hard in sleep, you stay awake. Trying itself can be the obstacle. The Daoist sage Zhuangzi told of a carpenter who carved bell stands of supernatural beauty. Asked his secret, he said he simply found the bell stand already waiting in the wood. The stand was there before he began. His job was removal, not creation. Discovering, not inventing. He aligned with what existed rather than imposing what he imagined. Your work contains similar hidden currents. Projects that want to move forward. Collaborations that want to form. Solutions that want to emerge. Can you feel where these currents flow? The practice begins with pausing before acting. Not long. Just a breath. Asking what wants to happen here rather than what should I force to happen. Notice where you encounter constant resistance. This may signal misalignment rather than insufficient effort. Sometimes the answer is not push harder but step back and look for another way. Notice where things flow easily. This reveals your natural currents. Not laziness but genuine alignment. Work that energizes rather than depletes may be showing you something important. Experiment with doing less. Not abandoning responsibility but releasing the grip of control. Allow space for solutions to emerge rather than manufacturing them through sheer will. Try completing one task today with minimum force. Not minimum care. Minimum struggle. See if quality suffers or improves. The results often surprise. Wu Wei does not mean never working hard. Sometimes intense effort aligns with natural flow. The distinction is whether effort feels like swimming upstream or riding a current. The Daoists were not lazy philosophers avoiding labor. They accomplished remarkable things. But they understood that the universe has its own momentum. Fighting it wastes everything. Your workday can become a laboratory for this principle. Each task an experiment. Each obstacle a question. Is this resistance telling me to push through or find another way? The river reaches the ocean not through force but through persistence in finding the path that opens. Your goals may be reached the same way. Effortlessly. Eventually. Inevitably. If you are ready for systematic practice integrating ancient wisdom with modern life, visit maaoot.org. The current is already flowing. Wu Wei means learning to find it.